Hi, Jared Smith here, back with another exciting gardening episode. And today we're going to start setting up my irrigation system. I finally got my raised beds built. I've got soil filled up in them, and now we're going to set up the irrigation system. I've got all my parts sitting here and right in the front yard where my water spigot is, and I'm going to show you exactly how I hook everything up, or how I suggest things should be hooked up for the irrigation system. So first, let me tell you where I got all of my stuff from. I ordered all my irrigation parts online from a company called Drip Depot, and they allow you. What they do is they have these different kits set up for different situations, like raised bed kits. They have in-ground kits. They've got all different sorts of irrigation kits, and essentially you pick the one that is closest to what you need, and then you can customize all the different parts and get exactly what you need for your specific situation or for your garden. For me, I chose to go with a super simple system that pretty much just uses, well, that's all I'm using is drip lines, okay? Not soaker hoses. I don't have any individual drip emitters. I'm just using a bunch of 1/4 inch drip lines with emitters every 6 inches. So every 6 inches there's going to be some water coming out of the lines, and I'll show you guys all that when we get to that part. But first things first, we need to set up the stuff that goes straight to the spigot. So let me show you exactly what order to put things in and what I've gotten for that part of things. First off, I've got a little splitter here, and this is going to let me hook up the irrigation to one side and hook up a hand sprayer to the other side. So that's why I got a splitter here. You don't have to if you don't want to. If you just want to hook up your irrigation system straight onto the thing, you can do that. But that's what I'm going to start with here first. There we go. Nice and snug there. Okay. And the splitter also has shut on and shut off valves, so I can shut on one side or shut off the other side. Doesn't matter. Okay, I can keep them both running, or I can shut them both off. Doesn't matter. Okay, so now I'm going to hook up my sprayer hose to one end. Good, so I've got that end hooked up, but you have to know how to hook up all the other parts of the irrigation system. They have to go in a certain order, so let's talk about that real quick. The first thing that's going to go right out of the hose, or right off of the spigot, is a water timer. And that's if you choose to use one. I highly suggest that you do. The one I've got is by the Orbit company. I believe that they manufacture this in China and then ship it over here, but it's a good timer. It's got a lot of good online reviews, so I'll try it out. It's my first time using an irrigation system or anything like that, so this will be new for me also. But I've got an Orbit timer. It's pretty simple functioning as far as that goes. So that'll be the first thing. The next thing I'll hook up will be a little extension hose, because this entire assembly goes on afterwards, and I would rather it lay flat on the ground like this as opposed to be sticking straight up and down or something like that, where there's a lot of weight on one part of it and things could get broken. So I'm going to make it in a way that it can lay flat by attaching this. I'm actually going to do that here next. So water timer first. Okay, simple enough. So next, we got this big crazy contraption here, and at the top we've got, I don't know what exactly you call it, but I know this prevents the water from backing up and flowing back into the house from the irrigation system. Sometimes the irrigation system builds up some pressure and things back into it. So this will keep things from coming into the house. So we hook that up next. That goes straight into the water filter. Now I'm using, for the second year in a row now, this HydroLife C85 filter. It was something that the HydroLife company gave to me after I made an inquiry about another product of theirs. They let me try this out. So this is my second year trying this out. The first year was really good. I assume the second year will be just as good, if not better, especially with the irrigation system and all of that hooked up. So we've got the black flow, goes straight into the filter, the water filter, which then goes into a pressure regulator. Your irrigation system can only handle so much pressure. The drip emitters can only handle so much pressure, so you want to make sure you have a pressure regulator to regulate the flow that's going out into the garden. And then we've got this coupling bit that goes onto the half-inch tubing. And I got a good big roll of this, so when we get to that, I'll cut this open and we'll get to that. So I'll hook this all up and show you what it all looks like all hooked together. Alright, so there's the spigot hookup. You can see the one side here where it's hooked up to my water hose. The other end hooked up to the irrigation. There's the timer. Here's the hose going all the way around. Okay, pardon the mess. Just trust me, it follows all the way through. It's over here on the side of my house because this is a 10-foot extension hose, so I could actually move it over here to the side of the house, which is not so bad. There's the backflow regulator, so it won't back up into the house. There's the actual water filter. There's the pressure regulator, regulate the pressure that's going out. The coupling bit, and it's connected to the hose there. So not very hard to do. That part so far has not taken any tools. Okay, and the next part will take a very minimal amount of tools. I'll show you that here in just a moment. So hopefully it's come through in the video. You can probably see that black line going through the grass. That's my main hose line. Okay, and it's going to go all the way down up to the first bed here. And then I'm going to make it go all the way down the center and put my 1/4-inch lines down the center there. So right here at this spot, there's going to be 3/4-inch drip lines that go all the way down the length of the bed. And then I'll start making the main line go down here with the 1/4-inch lines going down each of the beds. So I'll stop for just a second so I can show you guys where I'm going to make the cut at in the main line and how I'm going to drag it all the way down to the other end there where you see my stakes, my fence stakes. So anyways, get to all that here in just a little bit. Alright, now you guys can't barely see me here, but what I'm going to do is stretch this line out, okay, and figure out just about where you want to make the cut at. Doesn't have to be super perfect. It's nothing has to be super exact. Just has to be pretty close. I'm going to make my cut here. I'm using a razor blade. You can use a pair of scissors. Doesn't matter. So go ahead and make your cut. I'm going to make mine right here. Okay, done deal. And what I'm going to do is now put an elbow joint in here so they can run down the length of the bed here. So I'm going to put an elbow joint. They call these Permalock elbows. And they just lock in. Put one in on this side. Push it on. Just like that. And then you twist this lug here. Make sure it's nice and tight. Seems to be on there pretty good. Great. So now what I can do is I can take the other end of this hose, this tubing, plug it in and run it down the length of the bedding and put an end cap on it. That's all I'm going to have to do. Alright, it's a little messy out here, but there's the main line. There's an elbow joint there. Hate to have to weight things down. And then I've got the line going all the way down the middle, down to the end, and I'm going to make a cut here in a minute and put an end cap on that end, and that'll make the end of the main line. Just a note, and sorry about my neighbor cutting his grass, I know that's what you're hearing there. It makes this line a whole lot easier to work with if you leave it out in the sun for a little bit and let it warm up. It makes it a little bit more malleable, and a little bit easier to mess with, but it's a cooler day here, and I just need to get it done, so went ahead and did it. I'm using the stakes to help keep it straight. I'm putting some weights down in a couple of spots to hold the line down, and after this heats up for a day, it'll lay straight, it'll be fine. I won't need to have any weights on it or anything like that. This is just a temporary thing while getting it set up, especially on a cold day like today. So in the future, I'll probably do this on a hot day and leave the line sitting out, but I'm gonna deal with it for right now. So at this point, I've put the end cap on, and what I'm going to do now is run the water through the line to make sure that there's not any dirt, debris, or anything else that's going to clog up my drip lines when I put those in. So I'm going to go ahead and run the water for a little bit, maybe run it for about a couple minutes or so, just to make sure everything's flushed out. Turn the water off, and then I'm going to put my end cap back on there and close off the system and start putting in my drip lines. So that'll be the next thing you see, is me punching the holes in and putting the drip lines in. Alright, so right before I punch my holes, I wanted to show you one more thing that I've done. You look real close down there. I've hammered in a little C-clamp right into the bed so that the main lines are right next to the beds. I did that all the way down. You see it lays much nicer, much more straight, much more organized. That way, you know, they don't fall around, and they don't end up anywhere I don't want them to be. See, there's another C-clamp there, right there. So, anyways, did that. Alrighty, so we need to get these holes punched, and before I do that, we need to measure to make sure that the holes are going to be equal distance, and I'm going to have three different sections here, 3 feet of sections. I want them to go right down the center, so I'm going to measure before I punch my holes. Let me get a ruler. Alright, my beds are about 3 feet wide in this direction. I want the drip lines to go right down the center of each one, of each foot of the garden. So I'm going to try to get right around that 6-inch mark as far as where I'm going to punch the holes in the line, and then that'll get it lined up just about right. So here I go. I'm going to try and do this one-handed while holding the camera. Find a spot in the line, and you just punch a hole. Boom. That easy. Next, take one of these barbed bits here, these 1/4-inch barbs, and just stick it right in the hole here. Got to twist pretty hard in there. Alright, back put the camera down. I gotta use 2 hands for this, so you'll see me once it's done. Anyway, so I'm going to attach this end here to the barbed, I don't know what you call this, just the barbed coupler here, and that's going to run straight up and down, straight up here, and then I'll have an L bit that puts on here, and I'll run it straight down the line. So I'll show you when that's done here in just a little bit. Alright, that's all done. So we've got the 1/4-inch main line going up and an L bit pointing down the line. Now I'm just going to add this drip line here. I've done the same thing here. I've taken 2 of the pieces of tape off, left this one on so I can just loop it under, and I'm going to run it down the length of the bed, cut it where I need to, and do the same thing in 2 more spots down here. So I'll show you when all 3 of those spots are done here in just a minute. Okay, so I've got one bed done. I figured I'd show you. There's the 3 1/4-inch lines. You see them running all the way down the bed. There's my pitchfork in the middle. I'll bring you down to the other end here. And you can see where I nailed the 1/4-inch with some lines in with some C-clamps. There's a T-line, T-bit there, and another C-clamp there to hold it in together. So as you can see, this is a complete flow-through system where there's water coming in at all sides. Okay, it's coming in through the middle, okay, coming in through both the sides. So if there's ever a clog anywhere, the water will find its way to the path of least resistance, and it'll still get to my plants. Okay, so if there's a clog somewhere in the middle of the line, it doesn't matter, it'll come from the other direction and get it. So that's why I like this design in particular, the flow-through design. I got this from another YouTuber some of you guys may know, Curtis Stone, the urban farmer. If you guys don't know who he is, y'all should check him out. Pretty awesome dude. Anyways, so that's one bed. We've got 4 more to do, so I'm going to see you at the end of the episode when I've got all the beds done. So I'm finally finished hooking everything up, so I wanted to show you guys what it all looks like. I got done in a day. It's the same day. It's dark out now. It's 8 o'clock. Took me all evening, but it's done, so I want to show you guys what was done. Okay, as you can see, there's the main line coming all the way down. There's all the drippers. See each of the beds done a similar way. I've already rinsed the system, so I'm going to turn it on and see how my drippers work here. Just a minute. So when the drippers first started, there was a lot of air, and you can probably still hear them a little bit, some air getting worked out of the systems, but you can see their drippers are dripping all over the garden. So that's how I hook up a drip irrigation system. This is exciting. Love it. Well, that's my video. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more gardening videos like that in the future, please hit the subscribe button to see more in the future. Talk to you later.